Today we are redoing a very popular style that I did just a few months ago. However, I will not be using any type of extension hair. This is the style to the left hand corner that we are redoing, but we're going to use her own hair to do this. Now, when I did do this style, I got a lot of great reviews and a lot of not so great reviews, and that's fine. I welcome criticism as it comes, just like I welcome compliments. So I want to highlight the pros and cons of both styles just so that we have an understanding of why we might use hair or why we might not use hair. I do understand both sides because I have kids, so I get the point of each side. So there is no preference for me. I just do what the parent might want, or if we have a cool idea, and I understand both sides. So the first thing I'm doing right now is just blowing her hair out. I've slowed down a lot of this video and sped up a lot of this video just so again I can keep reiterating that I don't throw these people head around. I'm very slow and I take my time when I'm doing the hair. Just like I just sped it up and it looks crazy, just be mindful that the speed of the video is sped up, so in some areas it just might look like it's going crazy, but it's really not. So I'm blowing her hair out. We just washed it, and she has really thick full hair. When I was washing it, it's almost like the water was bouncing off her head. I know that's a type of porosity that she has, and that's fine. You just have to make sure when you're washing her hair, you really get in the center of her head. So now her hair is blown out fully, and she has a full head of hair. Like you guys have said in the previous video, why add hair? She has so much hair. I get it. But the reason why some people tend to add hair is because the style will last longer. We're doing a kid's hair for one, so they're going to be plain. They're not going to care about tying it down. They're not going to worry about if they're leaning back in a chair or a couch, if it's going to mess their hair up. They don't have time to worry about that type of stuff. They're just trying to have fun. So as us, as parents, we want the style, especially if you're going to be paying someone to do it, we want it to last as long as possible. So when you use hair or extension hair in the kids' hair, it helps it to last a little bit longer so that when my kids' hair are done, I shave off at least 30 minutes in the morning to get them ready for school. So parents, we want the hair already done so that when it's time to go, it's just time to go and we don't have to worry about that part of our daily routine. Okay, so I also understand the other half of the story, which is like, keep a child a child. I get it. Sometimes extension can make the child look a little bit older. It just depends on how you install the hair. So I do get that as well. And that's just up to the parent. I really just feel like leave people's kids alone, leave people's decision making alone when it comes to their child, as long as they're not abusing them or doing anything harmful to them. I strongly believe just let people do what they want to do. It's not your kid. So that's my stance on that, but I do get both sides of the story. Another fact that I want to highlight is that extensions pull your hair out. I do not believe that. I feel like the application might, and just like braiding your natural hair can pull your hair out, I don't believe just adding extensions is going to pull a child's hair out. Yes, if it's really heavy and you're doing like box braid and you add a lot of extensions to the child hair, then if it's heavy and it's hanging, their hair follicles is not fully developed, so it's not strong enough and it could easily break off. So be mindful of when applying too much hair if the hair is heavy. However, the previous video that I did, that hair is so lightweight, you could barely feel it in your hand. It was like feather. Before I added it, it might look heavy because it's full and bouncy, but it was so lightweight. Even just holding a whole pack of hair didn't really feel like I was holding anything at all. So be mindful of the amount of hair you put, especially when you're doing like box braids and stuff like that. Hanging on your child's hair can lead to removing some follicles. However, just braiding your child's hair and braiding it too tight without adding extensions can break the hair off as well, or the edges off as well. So whenever you're doing the hair, just make sure to either swoop the edges back and just lightly braid the edges while you're braiding, so that you don't break those hair follicles off. Another great point that I want to highlight is making sure that our kids, our African American kids, love their hair. And sometimes parents feel as though, or people looking from the outside in, feels as though if we're adding extensions to their hair, we're not allowing them to love their natural hair and their natural beauty. So now I cannot speak for everyone or everyone's child. I can just speak from the point that I'm coming from. But as you guys know, I've been braiding my oldest daughter's hair now for a while. I've always had her in braids, but also I allow her to wear her natural hair and her ponytail. If I ever gave her a choice, if she wanted to wear weave or braids or her natural afro, she will 10,000 times choose her natural afro. And that's because I have instilled in her that even though your hair might look a certain way, you still have to love your natural hair. I tell her constantly how beautiful her natural hair is, her natural hair color, her natural coils. And I just feel like as parents, you kind of have to highlight those things as they're growing so that they learn to love that about themselves, even though they might have a style today, or even though she was so elated to have her hair straightened for the first time or whatever, to wear her hair straight to school, she still would have preferred to wear her natural hair in an afro over the straight hair or the braids. And that's because growing up, I mentioned to her constantly how beautiful her natural hair is, and I let her see it for herself. And I do feel like when it comes to doing that, you just have to speak to your kids, you have to compliment your kids, and you have to let them know how important it is to love themselves. So that I leave to the parents. I don't feel like putting extensions in changes that, as long as you are doing the framework to shape them into loving themselves in their natural state. One of the tactics that I use to instill this in my daughter growing up is picture day. So whenever she has picture day, I've always chosen to do a natural style on her. Typically when it's picture day, parents tend to pull out all the stops. They pull out the best styles, the best clothing, everything to put on their child for that day. So instead of putting in weave and making her feel like for her special day, her hair needs to be in weave or extensions or something like that, I will always do a style that highlighted her natural hair. I have done braids a couple times, maybe like 2 braids or so, but for the most part, I've always made it a point to do her natural hair. And for that moment that, we take pictures, because it's something that we're going to reflect on and say, okay, you were at this age and this is how you looked. I always wanted her to feel beautiful and that her natural hair and her natural features were beautiful. So if you are a parent struggling with this, I would recommend starting from a young age, finding ways to highlight their natural hair in moments like picture day, or in moments like Easter, or days that are supposed to be special, birthdays, making sure that you do a style that it makes them authentic, and that will help them to also see the true beauty in themselves. If you're taking a special day and you're saying this is how your hair is going to be for that special day, then they know, okay, so for special days I can be my natural beautiful self, and that is what is accepted. So that's my point on that. I'm sure there might be a few more points that I'm missing. I just can't remember right now. If I have missed some points and you would like to know my opinion on it, or state your own opinion, like I said, I welcome the pros and the cons of social media, and that's fine with me. I'm not easily offended. Just don't talk about the kids. But you could talk about my work, you could talk about whatever you feel, but yeah, just go ahead and state your comment. If you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, tell me why, and we can have a discussion. If I see it, I'll definitely respond. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. The finished style looks lovely, just like the one before. This is her natural hair with no added extensions. She loved it just as much as she loved the other one, because we want to instill in our kids that it doesn't matter about hair or adding fake stuff or whatever. You still have to love your natural, authentic self. And thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time.